Welcome everybody to your first class. I'm Dr. Levi and I'll be teaching you how to use the mod Neurotrauma from the ground up. This is the intro to Neurotrauma, so I won't get into procedures or afflictions just yet, but I implore you to watch this before anything else. This episode will cover all of the basics, such as how the mod changes the game and what equipment is now required. And I'll start by explaining how Neurotrauma works. Neurotrauma is a mod that aims to rework the vanilla medical system, as you may know, so it's important to understand that many items do not have the same use as they used to, or their usefulness has been changed or altered in some way. In other words, morphine is no longer the cure for everything. We'll start by putting together and understanding the basic tools every surgeon requires. You should start with this black box called your surgery toolkit. This is your surgery box and will hold vital items required for surgical procedures. From the basic to advanced alike, these tools are the staples of your kit. Not enough yapping from me, here's what you need. Scalpel, hemostat, skin retractors. I recommend keeping these three tools along the bottom slots of your kit. Tweezers, surgical drill, surgical saw, trauma shears, osteosynthesis implants, spinal cord implants, endovascular balloon, medical stent, and some drainages. I know some of these items may sound intimidating, but don't worry. They will all be explained thoroughly when they're relevant. Just now you need them. In your first box, which I tend to refer to as the procedure box, you should have the items manual defibrillator, ambu bag, auto pulse, health scanner, hematology analyzer, antiseptic spray, and 3 rows of sutures. Your next box should contain medicines and interceptives. For example, should have at least these items: morphine, broad-spectrum antibiotics, fulixinide, antibiotic ointment, mannitol, antirad, theamine, azathioprine, and sodium nitroprusside. All these medicines will be covered later, as most of them are relevant to emergencies or surgeries. In box number 3, or the blood box, you should have any sort of fluid replacements in here. At least 1 stack of empty blood bags, 2 stacks of O- blood, Ringer's solution, saline, and the rest should be for other kinds of blood, namely stuff like A+, A-, O+, and always have some extra slots available, just in case. When dealing with blood bags, it can get a little messy sometimes. And finally, box number 4, that I affectionately call the boo-boo bag, should have the following: bandages, plasticine, needles, gypsum, opium, and tourniquets, and some additional items you want to carry personally. I would recommend always bringing some extra Ringer solution, sutures, and gypsums, as I have here. This out of the way, I'll explain some more basic mechanics of neurotrauma. If you wish to use the Neurotrauma mod, you must make sure your medbay has a surgery table that looks like this. It's called a hospital bed. And also make sure your medbay is sterile with a sprayer loaded with ethanol, which looks a little bit like this. Always have this on you as well, as long as it's not taking up storage you would otherwise use for something else. If you don't want to keep it in your inventory, there should be a cabinet in your medbay, near your medbay, you can keep a sprayer in. Just make sure you have one. Use the sprayer loaded with ethanol to remove any form of blood, vomit, or anything else on the walls before bringing a sick or injured patient into your office. Have an antiseptic sprayer also at hand, which should be in your first medical container, as so. Use it on your patient at the first sign of an open wound or bleeding. This will hopefully help prevent sepsis. But you may ask, why keep everything clean? Why the table? To answer your first question, sepsis again, which will be explained further during the blood episode, just know it's not a good thing to have. Second, if surgeries are not carried out on an operation table, you run the risk of giving your patient traumatic shock, which can cause your patient to stop breathing, or worse, can cause their heart to stop beating. Keep your room free of water, intruders, or fellow crewmates. This will help with sterility, and you need as few distractions as possible while you work. Now, I'll explain to you your role as a surgeon. It's important to understand that while playing the Neurotrauma mod, most damages a player can be inflicted with are much more severe, and you'll go down much faster. Things as simple as bite wounds or burns can lead to death quickly if not treated, so I advise you stay in your submarine. It's most important that you're safe, because you're the only one that can help your crew. If your medbay is not a safe spot, then find somewhere safer to be in your meantime. Tend to a garden if you have one, and always do routine checkups on your crewmates. Sometimes they have a serious infliction they either don't know about or don't think is important and can end up costing them their life over it. After every event, make sure everyone is in good health. You may ask, how do I make sure someone's healthy if some afflictions can go unnoticed? Your final lesson for this class today, I'll teach you how to spot an affliction. This part will be relatively short, but it will cover the surgeon's most vital tool. These two items, called your health scanner and hematology analyzer, or blood analyzer if hematology is hard for you to say. Some afflictions aren't visible to the naked eye or at a glance and require one of these tools to be spotted. For example, a pneumothorax is a condition that will be explained in a future episode, but it's something you can't exactly see like you would with other afflictions. The symptoms hyperventilation and shortness of breath will be visible, but other afflictions can cause these same problems, so to know for sure, use your health scanner on your patient's chest and every affliction will become visible. Just remember, the health scanner needs a battery to work, and don't use it too much on a patient within a short time. It's like a powerful X-ray, harmless if done a few times, but do it too much and your patient can become sick with radiation. The hematology analyzer is also an important tool. It works like the health scanner, but doesn't cause radiation sickness and does not require a battery. It'll show you the information about a patient's blood, including their blood type, blood pressure, and any sort of blood condition that's not visible at a glance, such as alkalosis and acidosis, all of which will be explained during the blood episode. This will be all for this episode. This was Intro to Neurotrauma, and I'll see you next episode where I'll cover everything you need to know about bones, dislocations, fractures, and everything else you need to know about bone injuries, their symptoms, and treatments. I'll see you next time. Happy sailing. What other the afflict this will help sterilize your room. This will help us sterilize. This will help us. Just kill me.